Hello, today I just wanted to do a very quick and dirty video about the Arby's dice. Now, I noticed after I just got done working out, I haven't even taken a shower yet, and I saw Dungeon Dad's post on this subject. He was showing some eBay lots for the Arby's dice. Arby's dice was a limited edition thing. It's the new thing that fast food restaurants are doing drops of limited edition collectible items because, yeah, that's become a thing. So immediately I went to there and I was like, you know what? I'm going to just clown on Dungeon Dad because I'm going to sort by completed. Because clearly there's a bunch of people that are bidding up the dice and stuff, and they're expensive, but like nobody's, these are obviously speculators that are trying to drive up the price with these outrageously priced things. So they're not selling for high prices like that. And then I saw the completed listings, which already had several things. Now, this $299.99 sold listing for the Arby's limited edition dice set, which is like they're not even like really nice dice. It's like this is a purely speculative thing. I don't believe this is a real sale. It might be, given the insanity of the D&D premium market. More on that later. But I would suspect that this is probably a wash sale. Now, that's not entirely a good thing, because somebody willing to do $300 wash sales on eBay and what other fees and hassles they have to do that, that's a bit of a pain to do. And that means that there's some speculators there that are trying to drive up the price. Now, what's really troubling is the two other sold things here, which is 170 and 175 is the most recent one, which sold yesterday. I hate to say it, but these might not be wash sales. And this might be some poor sap who saw all the listings for $400 and $300 and assumed that this would be a good price to jump on this. And if this would have happened just a couple of years ago, before we went into the insanity that we're at right now, I would have never suspected. Because tabletop a couple of years ago was not at this point. It wasn't anywhere near the insanity of collectible video games. I am very familiar with the collectible video game market and how it kind of went crazy back in 2007 and has continued to go absolutely hog wild for different reasons since then. And the speculator market, I would have never assumed that the speculative collectible market would reach the tabletop games this quickly or this hard, but it has. And it's disgusting. And what's even more disgusting is, in my opinion, this is a completely artificial market. This was driven by Wizards of the Coast in their bizarre decisions to prop up a number of companies that provided limited edition collectible stuff. And you know what? That's fine. I've always had the example of that one huge polystone dragon that was like thousands of dollars. Nobody knows what the hell that is, because that was a traditional style of a D&D collectible miniature. Like, the dozen people on the planet who want the really expensive, polystone statue, they'll be able to go and they'll buy that statue and they'll spend thousands of dollars on it. And nobody in the community will even know what the heck I'm talking about. Since Wizards of the Coast a couple years ago propped up a bunch of companies that were selling limited edition things that were $500 price point, that were limited to like 500 items, like, it's ridiculous. And they weren't just promoting it. They didn't just do a deal where it's like, okay, we'll announce this on our Twitter or whatever. The $2,000 dragon statue I was talking about before, it's not like Wizards of the Coast ever announced that. They just sold the rights to the premium collectible companies for the official D&D name. And there was never any social media push, because they understood that their main audience, it would be a terrible idea to promote that. But, well, apparently their thinking changed a couple of years ago. And now this is the result. Yeah, so apparently beforehand they did the original thing. They did retweet it. But again, this was back in the day. Like I said, a couple years ago. It's 2023 as I'm recording this, and this is 2020 and 2021. And yeah, so yeah, looks like back when I was complaining about they started doing this, looks like they did promote the original dice set. I absolutely hate this. I want to make sure to anybody who's going to type one of the comments, I'm not talking about premium items. I'm not talking about collectible items. I'm talking about this new, very recent thing where Wizards of the Coast was promoting these new companies that were doing these ultra premium items, which did not exist before. The old Hasbro dragon, the most expensive dragon there was, in real-time money, it's like still around $100 that cost. And that was the absolutely most adjusted for inflation and whatnot. That's still only $100 item. And that was like the most expensive item that the mainstream was aware of. And consider what we're dealing with today. Does any economic factor account for like all of a sudden there's stuff that's 5 times more expensive? No. This is ridiculous. And yeah, it needs to be mocked, and people need to realize that this sort of stuff is bad for the hobby, and that's all there is to it. Yeah. Ridiculous.